met you, won't you just be my ray of sunshine? I just want my ray of sunshine. Get away from this rain for a minute. I just want my ray of sunshine. Oh, now won't you give it to me? My job's gone, got no one to blame. Here with this guitar, nothing but my heart on my sleeve. Got my heart on my sleeve. One smile, I'm woman sweet. Standing on this corner, I just wanna know the name. Baby, tell me what's your name. Won't you just be my ray of sunshine? I just want my ray of sunshine. Get away from this rain for a minute. I just want my ray of sunshine. I know that I deserve it. Please now won't you give it to me? Every thought passes day. The evening shade on my bedtime days. I'm not trying to complain, trying to make my way here in the sunshine. I just want my ray of sunshine. Get away from this rain for a minute. I just want my ray of sunshine. Lord, that I could, please now won't you give it to me? I just want my ray of sunshine. Get away from this rain for a minute. I just want my ray of sunshine. Lord, that I could, please just let me have it, 'cause I make this love habit. I got a feeling it's the moment my life's gonna start. I got the feeling when the windows roll down in the car. I got the feeling if I wanna fly, know that I could. I got a feeling, it's all feeling good. I got a feeling, it's all feeling good. The sun will show the way, I know the road to take. Throw all our cares away, I don't need to knock on wood. Time is on my side, let's all enjoy the ride. I got a feeling, it's all feeling good. I got a feeling, it's all feeling good. All right, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the country you're in. It's nice to see all of you with us this evening. Thank you for joining and learning a little bit more about St. Andrews University here in Laurinburg, North Carolina. And also, I want to thank, besides the students and families who have joined, I want to thank our wonderful faculty for taking time out of their busy schedule. I know we're preparing for finals here next week on campus, so thank you to all of you for taking time to join us and share your story. In the chat room, if you're not familiar with Zoom, please make sure you're on mute. And also there is a chat room feature so you can ask questions and again, get your questions answered. So we're glad that you're here with us to learn a little bit more about not only St. Andrews, but our health sciences programs that we have here at the campus. So if anybody would like to share where they're from, we'd love to know a little bit about you and where you're from. So please, if you have a second to chat down there and let us know, that would be great. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to spend just a few minutes talking about the university, but really this is about getting a chance to meet our wonderful team that's here from academics to share more in-depth information about our nursing program, as well as our occupational therapy assisting program, our health service administration, and a little bit about some of our pre-med and pre-professional programs, and even biology, depending on which track you're looking to go with. So good. Hey, Sherman, nice. All the way from Tennessee. I wish you would have sent us New Mexico. Nice. I wish, Sherman, if you could send us some barbecue. That's what I first think of when I think I'm hungry now. So uh, that's my first thought. So welcome to both of you. So thanks for sharing that. Um, a little bit about the university as we get started. Just some fun facts about the school. I'm so excited to talk about our community here at St. Andrews. We have students representing our university from 35 states within the United States. Of course, being here in North Carolina being our largest territory of where students are coming from, and 26 foreign countries. So it's pretty cool to see the diversity that our students experience in learning about their new family once they arrive here on campus, because we get to learn about cultures and experiences and, you know, a little bit more about their backgrounds. I know I grew up in a rural area in Indiana and was not exposed to those things. So I think one of the things that sets us apart is having that experience for our students here on campus. And if you're wondering, our largest country represented at our campus is from Japan. We have a probably our largest population from Japan. Number two is from Brazil. Several of them play soccer here at the campus from Brazil. And then third is a tie with UK and with Italy. So a little bit about where our students come from around the country. So a great opportunity for you to connect with folks. Um, you guys are not from North Carolina, which is even better, but you're probably wondering, well, where is Laurinburg, North Carolina? And if you look at the map, we're quite a long state in North Carolina, but if you look at the map, for both of you, if you were flying in, you might fly into Charlotte, North Carolina, or Raleigh. Both of those are about 2 miles from, or pardon me, 2 miles, 2 hours from our campus, just under 2 hours distance to our campus. We're about 45 minutes if there's any military connection. We're about 45 minutes from Fayetteville. So depending on traffic and depending on what part, that shows you we're in the Sandhills region of North Carolina. So we're also close to the beach. You can see not far from the ocean, and it gives you an opportunity to explore different parts of the state of North Carolina. So both of you not being from here, it gives you an opportunity really to see where we're located here in our region. Our campus sits on about 200 acres. It gives you an opportunity to explore. There is about an 80-acre lake that separates our academic side of campus from our student side of campus, where students live and eat and play sports if they're involved in a sport. So we're on about a 200-acre campus. And then just up the road, about 2 miles from campus, we have an equestrian center with 300 plus acres there. So if any of you are thinking you might want to ride a horse or have an opportunity to connect with animals, it's a great place out there at our equestrian center for sure. You will see we do have 3 equestrian intercollegiate teams that students compete on here at our campus. So we're excited. We've had some national championship teams that have ridden here at the university. So excited about that. What couple of things that sets the university apart is our 14-to-1 faculty student ratio. For a lot of us, I don't know about you, but I learn better by having an opportunity to connect with that faculty member. And I think about my experience picking their brains on things that they learned and could give to me to help me with my career path. So that's one great thing that St. Andrews allows us to do. We also, you heard me talk about a few programs, but we have over 22 majors and 22 minors that a student can choose to pick to explore here. I don't know about you, but I didn't totally know what I wanted to do when I went off to college. I learned quickly. But the great thing about St. Andrews is we're going to help you figure that out with our academic advising team. And they're one of your faculty members who will be teaching you, but also helping you figure out what it is you want to do with those classes and things of those nature. You heard me mention, I'm going to go back for just a second. Tonight's about our health sciences program. You'll see up here, we started back in 1961. Our first group of students that started here at our campus really were focused in on liberal arts and focusing in on those areas. So studio arts, they did not have game art and design back then, but now do. Communication studies, politics, just to name a few of the liberal arts programs. We also, our business program has grown over the years with business administration and a few different areas to focus in on that. We also provide or offer degrees in education, and I'm excited. We just launched a new Masters of Education that kicks off this January. So we're excited about that. But really, where we've really focused in over the years is in our sciences. So there's quite a few different areas that we can explore with health sciences as well as with the sciences. So that's really what we're going to explore today. Down in the chat room, anybody thoughts? Have you thought about what it is you might want to explore at the university, or not sure yet what you might want to study? Any ideas what you're thinking about exploring? Love to see some thoughts down there. While you're typing in the chat room, nursing, good, Sherman, that's awesome. Dr. Miller will be excited to see that for sure. And hopefully we'll see a few more. Psychology, okay, gotcha, good. So couple of things here too. I just wanted to mention, you heard me mention that sets us apart. And all of our faculty members are advisors. They help you through figuring out your classes, keeping you on track. I know with a lot of our health sciences, we're going to make sure that you're prepared and ready to go out into that industry, that first job. So that'll be an important piece of it. But we also, besides, have a little bit of fun for you. We don't want you just to have that classwork. Yes, we want you to be successful in classes and have great grades, but we do have athletics and clubs and organizations that you can be part of. So that's a little bit about the university. I covered that pretty quickly. And again, we'll wrap up with some next steps after we go through learning about our programs. But I want to introduce you to my family. These folks are faculty and heads of our programs that work here at the campus. And I'm going to have them to introduce themselves. We do have their bios up here on the screen for you to be able to view. But I'm going to start with Dr. Dorothy Miller. Dr. Miller, thanks for joining us. Please share a little bit. We'd love to hear your story.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here, and I am excited to see that you have joined us and are considering St. Andrews as your home. A little bit about me. I am actually a military person. I actually joined the military when I was 17 years old, and I served in the military for roughly about 6 years, and then I got out and I did a first degree in behavioral sciences, a 2-year degree, and realized that I couldn't really get a job with that. So I went back to school for nursing and started at the associate degree level, bachelor's level, master's level, and now I have my doctorate in higher education administration. But I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 20 years now. Wow, been a nurse for 20 years. And love doing what I do, but I worked at the bedside for several years before I realized that education is where I actually wanted to be at. And so that's why I became a nursing instructor, and now worked my way up. And now at this point, I am department chair for health sciences, and I am the nursing program director. That's a little bit about me. Glad to be at St. Andrews, and glad that I've had opportunity to start the pre-licensure nursing program, which is a 4-year nursing program, as well as the RN-BSN program.
We're excited. You've made a big impact and gone through lots of building of curriculum and putting a lot of great things together for our program. So thank you for your leadership and thanks for being here tonight. We'll come back to you shortly to hear a little bit more about the program. So Rochelle, Lydell, are you there?
I am. Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Good. We'd love to hear your story. Tell us about you.
Sure. So my name is Rochelle Lydell. I am the program director for the upcoming Bachelor of Occupational Therapy Assisting program. A little bit about me. I am an occupational therapist. So not only am I the program director and most likely one of the professors who's going to be teaching some of the core courses and some maybe 1 or 2 of the general education courses in the program as well. But I am also an occupational therapist. So I started out my career with a varied clinical background. I did quite a few things. I worked in the fitness industry. I worked in behavioral therapy with applied behavioral analysis. I have a psychology degree and a biology degree. And then I really just wanted to help people. And one of those ways that I wanted to help people that resonated with me the most was through occupational therapy. So I got my master's degree in occupational therapy and loved it so much that I am now also working on my doctorate degree in occupational therapy as well. So from there, I joined St. Andrews because as much as I love occupational therapy, the opportunity to now create and design a program to transfer my love for the field and teach students and create unique experiences for the next generation of therapists was presented. And I jumped and I fell in love with St. Andrews and the faculty and the family. So my specializations as an occupational therapist are pediatrics. I treated pediatric clients all the way to geriatric clients in their early 90s. And I've worked in all different kinds of settings in addition to specializing in several things. So I'm really excited to be here, super excited to be part of this program and be able to offer it to you soon.
That's awesome. Welcome. We're glad you're here tonight as well. So thank you. Dr. Annette Webster, how you doing tonight?
Good evening. I'm doing very well. Welcome, everybody. One of the great things that you'll find here at St. Andrews is you've just heard about some amazing clinical experience in education. We are clinicians. We come from a background in health services, health sciences and health services, and we love what we do. I'm a physical therapist assistant. My first degree was a 2-year degree, and I loved being a PTA. As with any person who gets out there and works hard, you're going to be promoted to manager, you're going to be promoted to different leaders within the organization. And I didn't have any idea how. I knew I was a good PTA, but I did not know how to lead, how to work with people. So I went back to school. I have a bachelor's in business and my MBA and a doctorate in health sciences. But I do love, what we love to do is be in front of our students. And that's one of the most amazing things. And I think, and I want to take this a minute and congratulate our administration because St. Andrews has done a wonderful job this semester. We have stayed with our students face to face. They have taken all the precautions and we love being with our students. As Brian said early, that's why we engage in the classroom experience. So I am a PTA. I've been a nursing home administrator. I've also been a rehab director. My background comes from the rehabilitation side of healthcare, and health service administration is learning the business side. I was a clinician to start out with, and then started moving into that management, and I needed that extra education. And the programs here at St. Andrews are going to give you that education while you're here. We're going to work with you to help you understand not only the clinical side, but the environment that you're going to be participating in when you graduate from college. I love the classes that we have. We have a very broad base. We're talking about healthcare policies, but we'll get into that later. I do think that St. Andrews is a wonderful place to be. I love the colleagues that you just met and the colleagues that have helped pull this Zoom meeting together. And I look forward to talking to you a little bit later.
Perfect. Thank you. And Dr. John Knesel, welcome, Dr. Knesel. He heads up our natural and life sciences. Are you there?
Hello, Brian. Hello, everybody. I'm the chair of Natural and Life Sciences, which means that I oversee programs in biology with specializations in equine science and also biomedical area, the biomedical area, and forensics. We have forensics with specializations in psychology and also with chemistry and psychology. I saw somebody interested in psychology a little bit ago. I grew up in a small town called Faraday, Louisiana. And the only reason I mention that is because the most famous person from there is Jerry Lee Lewis. If you're too young to know who that is, you might want to look up some of his music because it's pretty special and pretty good. I went to school at Northeast Louisiana University, about 80 miles north of my home, and I felt that I was way far away from home. I think that's the first time I had been away any distance from home at all. But I graduated, I got a bachelor's degree in biology, and I came back there to get a master's in biology. And then I went from there a long way from home, all the way 800 miles to Indiana, and I went to PhD school at Purdue University. When I graduated from there, I went to work at Purdue Calumet, and after 3 years, I was able to return, had an opportunity to return to my alma mater. And there I taught pre-nursing students. I taught in the occupational therapy professional program. I taught them neuroanatomy. And I also had an opportunity to teach part-time at Grambling State University in their master's MSN, Master of Science in Nursing program. So I have a pretty good affiliation with health sciences and have a tremendous respect for all of these folks that actually work with people and not just talk about it. And you'll find that St. Andrews is, in my best description, magical. It's a place where it's small enough you can walk down the hallway and see people that you see everywhere. You see them all the time. The only downside is if you missed a class, professor may ask you where you were. It's a very good place to converse with professors and, as Brian said, pick their brain. And we care a lot about our students and try to take extremely good care of them. So I look forward to telling you more about the program. And if you have any questions, please ask.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Knesel. For all of you that have joined us, I think it's important. One of the things that we're seeing and finding is what's going to help me make a decision about my college search process is who the faculty are, who are teaching the courses. And you just got a quick lineup of just a few of our folks that will work with you and share their expertise so that once you graduate, you go out and share the things that they've taught and given to you over that time here at the university. So I know, again, I want to thank all of them for being on here. Now, tonight, I know I saw a last minute pre-vet comment in there that we have a pre-vet person on. The great thing, if you look at our curriculum in our sciences, a lot of them, you'll have an opportunity to explore some of those anatomies and biologies and different courses across our curriculum. So that's a great thing. We also find that some folks, and you heard their stories, they all maybe started out in one area and went a different direction or focused in on a different area. The great thing about college is that gives you that opportunity as you're learning to figure out what's going to be right for you. So pretty cool to meet my family here. So thank you all for joining us. Let's get into the good stuff though. Before we do though, all of our classes, as I mentioned, we're divided by a lake. here on campus where our academic classes take place. We have more than one building that classes take place. So Dr. Knesel, I'm going to put you on the spot for just a second. Would you mind telling them about the Morgan Jones Science Center and the laboratories that they may get a chance to explore in all of our programs?
I'd be happy to. As you begin to visit colleges, you will see as you visit a campus and ask maybe, where do you teach your labs? You'll be taken down a hallway and get to look in some rooms. And the rooms may have a window, may not, but they will hold about 30 people. And so to take a lab at that school, you will go in and with 29 other people and an instructor and a lot of equipment and a lot of models, and that's where you will do your almost any course you can imagine, whether it be anatomy, physiology, or general biology. When you walk into the John Blue Laboratory in the Morgan Jones Science Center, you walk in and you see 20,000 open square feet with 256 tables that can be arranged as needed. You will see some rolling carts that you can put things on and move around with them. And you'll see a unique place. It's unique because it's the only place that I know of, and a bunch of us have asked, that's that wide open. The openness helps pedagogy. There are one or two colleges that have a similar arrangement, but not quite that open. It's great because you can get up and move around. You can go work with another group. You can even walk down to another laboratory going on, and let's say your roommate has your keys or something, you can just go down and get those. One of the neat things that happens is that faculty have a tendency to wander around when they might have a break in their lab or when they're finished, and you might be in laboratory and a faculty member walks up to you and says, "What are you doing?" For example, on this slide, you can see a semester-long biology project called Pond in a Jar. And they are taking data from the whole semester, and at the end, they will do a presentation of their findings in this research piece. So it's a very dynamic, it's almost impossible to describe to you. You have to come here and see it because I've had many guests come on campus and they say, wow, this is much bigger than I thought it was going to be, even from the pictures. So it's a unique, exciting place where there's almost constant interaction going on, student to student, student to faculty, faculty to student. So we like it.
Good. Thank you for sharing that. And again, our nursing, our simulation lab is located in there, and soon are hopefully some of our occupational therapy assisting labs. So thank you for sharing a little bit about that for sure. And some of you pre-vet psychology, Dr. Knesel's the expert on those, so don't be concerned. Ask questions. He's down there for you. Before we move on and get into the nuts and bolts of everything, what year in school is everybody a senior? You're going to be graduating this year. What year of school are you all in? Putting you back on the spot. You guys thought you had it easy tonight. You were just going to sit here and listen. Senior, what? Yeah, nice. That's good. Question for you. Are you taking any science classes or nursing or health classes right now? Let's see if we have any response there. So it'll be interesting to see if you're involved or connected in any of these classes right now in school. Important. So we'll go ahead though, while we're waiting for you to respond. Let's go ahead. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Dorothy Miller to share a little bit more about the nursing program. And one of those labs is right up here in front of us. So Dr. Miller, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Again, hello, everyone. What you're seeing before you, which is also located in the John Blue Laboratory, is the simulation lab. Our simulation lab is brand new, state-of-the-art lab with all the newest simulation mannequins. They're simulation for high fidelity mannequins, which means basically for you that we can do almost anything that we can do with a normal patient in a simulated environment. The one you'll see the simulation baby over there, and that looks like Sim Mom, but I can't see all of her body to be able to tell you. Looks like Sim Mom, but we have Sim Mom is able to give simulated birth in the simulation room. We can do manual birth, or we can do automatic deliveries with her. We have, again, the Sim baby over there. One of the things, though, we're intentional about our simulation lab is about being diverse. And so that means having men, women, different races, different cultures in our simulation lab, because those are the kind of people you're going to serve in the hospitals. You're not going to just serve one type of person. You're going to serve people of all different cultures and backgrounds and ethnicities. Oh, sorry, I can't get that right. Ethnicities, genders. We're going to be actually mimicking the hospital environment. So our simulation lab takes on that particular aspect, making sure that the patients or the students are ready to go into the hospital environment before we take them to the clinical lab. We are able to give you all of that experience in this lab. Okay, this is a little bit about our pre-licensure BSN program, and that's different than our RN-BSN program. So we'll talk a little bit about that later, but the pre-licensure RN program are for those students who've never had a RN degree. This is a 4-year program in length, and it occurs in 2 stages. So stage 1 is where you will take, or stage 1 or phase 1 is where you would take all your general education courses. That's about 3 semesters. So in that time, you will take things like anatomy and physiology. You will take chemistry. You will take those kind of science courses. So again, as Brian mentioned, it's important that you've already gotten your feet a little bit wet in your high school experiences, so that when you come into the St. Andrews nursing program, you won't have a shock. You would have already been working with some of these sciences. So you are required to take a heavy load of sciences. A little thing about nursing is that a lot of people, you may have been looking at some of the TV shows and Grey's Anatomy and all these other shows that may think you know what a nurse is, but nursing is none of those things that you see. We are very heavy, intense, and in sciences, and that is reflected in the program. Upon completion of all your courses, which is 120 semester hours, students will graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree, and then you will be eligible to take the NCLEX RN licensure exam. So a little bit of, to emphasize that again, just because you pass the program does not mean you're a nurse. You must take the NCLEX exam in order to be a nurse. This is a example of a master curriculum or a curriculum that you would take in nursing. You will see what we talked about in the general education phase 1. You will be taking these classes that are listed, English, heavy sciences again. You'll be taking, when you get to the spring semester, you'll be finishing up your general education, and then you will apply to, Brian went back to the first year. These are the general education courses. But when you get up until where you see fall, and you may not be at fall, it just depends on where you're at when you start. This is just a sample. You will actually apply to come into the program. That means you would have taken all your sciences, all your general education courses, except for maybe 3 to 6, and you have made a B in those sciences. Then you can apply to get into the nursing program, which is nursing, starts in nursing 203, 205, and 214. This is where you've passed all that general stuff, and now you're in the nursing program. That's an exciting time for you. So that's about 120 semester hours you would have completed our program, which is 5 semesters away from finishing your general education courses. Okay. What are our requirements? Successful completion of required general education courses. Okay, you must have at least a seat in those courses, except for sciences. Courses are considered for admission to the nursing program as they appear onto your university transcript. So if you're coming from another university or you're a transfer student, those courses must appear on your St. Andrews program, a St. Andrews transcript. You will see again that we have anatomy and physiology 1, anatomy and physiology 2, chemistry, microbiology. those courses must be passed with a B. And we can't, if you're a transfer student, you can't have taken those more than 5 years ago. So again, you must have a B in those courses, and they can't be over 5 years old. Students may be considered on a conditional acceptance to the nursing program. If you have about 3 to 6 credit hours outstanding, I can do what's considered a conditional acceptance. However, that cannot be in your sciences. Your sciences must be completed before you enroll in the program. You can be admitted into the core program. Okay. You're also part of the nursing admission. This is not in the general education phase, but once you're given it to apply into the core program, you will have to take what's considered a HESI A2 exam, which you have to make at least a 75 on, which is considered 750 or 70 or 75. Once you get in, then you also get a student handbook, and you will sign the handbook. You would also submit a nursing application, and the application will be looked over by several other nursing faculty, and then you will go through a nursing interview process, which consists of about 5 other people that are not just nursing, but we have occupational therapy. Ms. Lydell is on that, and Ms. Webster is on that. We have an admissions representative. We have different people in that program that will actually look at your application and consider whether you've met the program requirements. Applicants to the pre-licensure BSN program must be current at St. Andrews University students. Transfer students may be accepted, but should read, there's a part to say transfer students in your handbook. So we do take students that are transfer. If you've been to another program or another college, we can take you, but there are certain requirements that you would have to make. Okay. Again, this just goes over what we just said about the transfer students. What you see here is some of the places that nurses can work. This is not an exhaustive list, but this is just some of the places that they're able to work. They can work at hospitals. You heard Dr. Annette Webster talk about some of the things as as a health services administrator, that she worked with certain people. Well, guess what? Nurses do the same, but it's good that we are able to have such flexibility. We don't have to stay at the bedside, like Annette was saying. We can go to any places. You want to be a flight nurse? Great, that's what we do. You want to travel and be a travel nurse? Great. You want to work in a hospital? That's fine as well. You want to work in an education setting like we do? That's fine as well. There's so many different places that we can work. Forensic nurse, you're looking at CSI and all those kind of things, and that's what you want to do. Nurses do that too. So we have a lot of flexibility in our career advancement. We're not tied to one thing. Really great with nursing is that if you get tired of one area, you can move to another one, and you don't have to get a new license to do it. You can just transfer to a different position.
All right, Dr. Miller, thank you so much for giving us a little taste about the nursing program and walking us through some of the things for that. So we appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yes, Rochelle, Lydell, let's hear about what is occupational therapy assisting.
Sure. So occupational therapy is basically what the American Occupational Therapy Association has quoted here. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's basically young or old, we all have a job to do, and that's the job of living. And the job of living really is all the things that we do in everyday life that is common to everybody: eating, grooming, feeding, just things that are common to all of us that we do every day. But they're also very unique to us as individuals, because some of us have pets and take care of pets, and some others, do other different things that are meaningful in their lives. So that's basically what occupational therapy is, because when there's an injury or a disability, we will treat a patient or a client because their independence has somehow been disturbed or disrupted, and we want to get them back to being independent again. There's a lot of psychology involved in that as well. So I know there's some psychology interest. We are very heavy in our psychology kind of background as well. It marries very well with the foundational tenets of occupational therapy. And as you can see here, we also work in a variety of settings as well. We work in the community, in early intervention. We work in clinics, outpatient clinics, home health, hospital-based, long-term, and even in schools. And occupational therapy and occupational therapy assistant the field and the career is very, very lucrative because you can go and work all over the country. You can even go and you can work in a different country. And the salaries over time have been increasing because of the need for occupational therapy and occupational therapy assistants, because we have the baby boomers who are retiring and the workforce who is also aging. So a lot of what we do is also helping patients age in place, make sure that they're independent, but obviously too, as you can see, all the different work settings that we are needed in, and so we can transfer, just like Dr. Miller said, like nursing, we can, jump to different avenues and different places as therapists as well. So a little bit about our program. We are a new program. We are actually making history at St. Andrews because occupational therapy is offered at an associate's degree level for occupational therapy assisting, and it has never in history been offered at the bachelor's level. So we are actually going to be one of the first programs in all of the United States of America to offer occupational therapy assisting at the bachelor's level. And particularly St. Andrews is making history because in the state of North Carolina, we are actually one of two who are currently going through the process of accreditation. Basically what that means is that we are a new program and we are going to be designing this absolutely fantastic, super exciting, life transforming program that consists of a lab that you can see in front of you. We have lots of wonderful different things in store. We have therapy equipment, we have kitchens, we have laundry rooms, we have bathrooms, all in this huge space to help train our students how to be able to enable independence again when there is a disability or injury. In addition to that, the way that the program works is that just like the nursing program, there are two phases. So the first phase is also a foundational phase. It is a general education component. And the second phase is the professional phase, which is the core component of occupational therapy assisting. So in your first 2 years, you will get education that's heavy on the sciences. And so as you can see here, the curriculum is kind of, designed to expose you to not only just sciences, but also the minor, which is attached to the Bachelor of Occupational Therapy Assisting in Health Services Administration. So in those first 2 years, you're going to be taking psychology, you're going to be taking human anatomy and physiology, some math, some general kind of St. Andrews unique experiences as well in terms of academics. And then you're also going to complete the coursework that will give you that minor in Health Services Administration, which will allow you to apply to managerial positions or even open up your own practice if that interests you. In the second year, that's really where you're going to focus on those occupational therapy courses that are going to allow you to graduate after your senior year and take a board examination so that you can right away, once you pass, work as an occupational therapist right after graduation. So we are very excited about that, specifically this being a professional program, because never has this type of program been offered. It's super exciting. We have lots of really great things planned in terms of clinical experiences, which you will experience in your second year, where you will actually go, your final year, where you will actually go out and work as an occupational therapy assistant for credit as part of the education requirements in a hospital, in a school, and it can be anywhere in the country that you desire. So we are going to train you to become occupational therapists so that as soon as you write that exam, you can get out there, have your license and start working right away. So that's a little bit about the program. The admission requirements for that are that in your first year, when you come in, general admissions requirements to the pre-OTA program, so that foundational phase, is that you really just need to maintain a C average in some key courses. So anatomy and physiology, because again, occupational therapists are very heavy in their science base. Anatomy and physiology, we require a B, but all those other general education courses, we do require a C. And when it comes to the time after your 2 years where you're going to apply separately for your a position in the professional phase of the program, we would like for you to have a 2.75 GPA. Also, be able to have some observation hours, and that we can discuss, I think, on a case-by-case basis, because as you know, COVID is heavily rampant within the area. And some of those clinical sites are not allowing students to come in and observe because of the safety, for the safety of everyone, for the patient and also for the student. So that's something that we're still working on. But we would like, hopefully when everything pans down, that you can complete 24 hours of observation so that you can enter into the program fully prepared and knowledgeable about what to expect in the next 2 years. So in that respect, we are really excited to offer this program because we are happy to be part of this family here and be able to bring a new set of skills to the family at St. Andrews.
That's great. We're thrilled too. So thank you. I did want to point out to our students and our folks on tonight, feel free to send a message, private chat to anybody, what they shared with you that might excite you or questions about the program. So feel free to continue to ask questions as well. Thank you, Rochelle. We appreciate that so much. Let's turn over to Dr. Annette Webster.
Good evening, everybody, and again, welcome. Health Service Administration is a part of the essence and the business of healthcare. You've just seen 2 examples of wonderful clinical practices. We want, and I started as a clinician myself. I love being able to do what I do for my patients and help. And I never thought I'd find another field as rewarding as being a clinician. But as we talked about earlier, as we start to advance in our careers, we start accepting new responsibilities and positions. And I did that as a therapist. I became a charge therapist. And all of a sudden, I had to lead and manage and guide people. I also had to be responsible for budgets. We want our clinicians to be focused on delivering quality care, evidence-based practice, and evidence-based medicine. In order for them to be able to do that, they need all the resources that they can get. So as I transferred on from the clinical side over to the administrative side, I saw my purpose is to help my fellow clinicians do their job the best. And the better that I can manage my resources within the organization, the better my clinicians can manage our patients and the better outcomes that we could have. So Health Service Administration, we look and combine the clinical services. A lot of our clinicians are leaders within their own departments. We'll have nurse managers, we'll have therapists who are managers, we have managers within each department, and we work together through the Chief Executive Officer, Chief Financial Officer. We work in risk management and human resources. We blend our resources so we can produce a better product. And that's what Health Service Administration is all about, is helping our organization to do that. As we go through some of our courses that we take in healthcare policy, organization behavior, you're going to see that it just flashed up. Go ahead, you can go back to that. It just flashed up to the service managers, the health service managers, and the outlook that we have. This is the 2019. You can see that this is coming from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. They've just updated this. The healthcare managers and health service managers are going to be at a 32% growth rate between now and 2029. So we're going to be in demand. As the nurses and therapists and physicians and providers are in demand, so will the managers be in demand. And we need those managers that can be innovative and can help, because our resources that we have and that we work with are limited. So, you can see this is through the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, that we're going to have a great job growth and the employment opportunities, as Dr. Miller and Professor Lydell said, are going to be throughout the industry and throughout the country. There's not going to be any place that you probably can't go. There might be one or two places, but the opportunities are going to be open to you. Our next slide is informatics. Healthcare informatics is one of the growing fields. What we do is we take the healthcare information technology, the technical side, and we combine that with the health information management, the clinical side. So we have nurse managers who are helping IT managers to understand what nurses need on the front line, what do the nurses need to provide the best care for our patients? If we're looking from a risk management, what kind of system might I have in place that will allow my nurse, my doctor, my therapist to provide evidence-based care that helps guide them down that path? They maintain their own autonomy, professional autonomy, but they're using evidence-based practice through healthcare informatics to lead them to the highest quality of return, because that's what we're looking for, as helping our patients get to that functional level so they can be as productive as possible. Areas that we can look at are human resources. Human resources, they used to, people would thought that they would just hire and deal with the terminations, but they do so much more. They look at credentialing. They help to educate our staff, and many of us need continuing education units. They vet us. They make sure that those people who have said that they are doctors and nurses and therapists, that they actually are. They track and make sure our licenses are current. They work with professional development. They work with helping us to be better people and doing review processes. Risk management is that next step that we take. It's a huge opportunity within the healthcare field, is helping our clinicians and helping our administrators find out what's going on, what can be done to make things better, what has happened, what sentinel events have happened, how can we prevent these events from happening. It takes people who are innovative, people who want to always ask the question, why? That's why this Liberal Arts Foundation at St. Andrews gives you a huge platform to be able, during your freshman and sophomore year, you're introduced to so many different varieties in the liberal arts education. You're between the arts and history, and there's religion, there are different sciences. We want to be able to show you and introduce you to these things. So when you become your clinician, when you become that healthcare administrator, you can think kind of outside the box. You can think and help be that innovative person, not just doing the same thing like we've done for years and years, but coming up to be more effective and efficient than the managers that had preceded you. So some of the courses that we take here are healthcare policy.
Sorry, that's my reason I have it on.
Accounting and information, cultural competence and finance. There's all kinds of great courses and businesses courses that we will take. We blend with the clinical side to make sure that you have a great foundation and that you're ready to move from your college education into the professional field.
Perfect. Thank you for walking through that. I hope this gave you a little taste about our programs and how they interact with one another. I know Dr. Webster her program falls under the business programs at the university, but you can see with her experience that she brings into the real world how that relates to the industry and how they work together. It takes a lot of folks to make these organizations work effective. And again, that's where the science piece comes into play with Dr. Knesel, and of course with the other areas of how they interact here at the university, very similar to what would take place out in the workplace. So it's exciting to see that for sure. I briefly want to mention we do have a veterinarian. I saw that we had a pre-vet student on here. We call that is our biology with equine science major here at the campus. Dr. Laura Kellum is our in-residence veterinarian that lives at really pretty much most of the time out at the equestrian center, and allows our students to interact with the horses and give them a chance to work alongside with caring for about 100 horses that we have at our equestrian center too. So she is not on tonight. She's actually teaching classes right now. Ann Phillips, Valerie Klein teach in our psychology program. Both of them are also teaching, but I know they would love to spend a little bit of time with you at some point with the other majors of interest that you shared. So thank you to our folks. I'm going to, one of the things that I think I'm going to wrap up talking about the health sciences and our science programs. A couple of things that set St. Andrews apart is we want to get to know you. We want to find out who you are, what you're about, figure out which program is going to be right for you. I think you can see with the career paths of our faculty and folks, they've gone a couple of different directions. They've got different degrees that they've gone into, and something triggered with them that made them, think about, hey, I might want to explore this. And I think the great thing about our faculty and our staff here in admissions is we want to get to know you and figure out which program is going to be a right fit for you. And again, we may find out as we get into this that we go a whole different direction. But the good thing is with all of our sciences and health sciences is that a lot of the classes are intertwined, and will give you that opportunity to, explore those areas before you get into the core of those main classes. As you heard from Dr. Miller, from Rochelle Lydell, you heard how there's some classes that you have to take prior to getting into those core classes. So back to what sets us apart is we pride ourselves in getting to know you and helping you build what classes are going to be right for you. And all of us probably have a different outcome of what we're looking to do when we graduate. So the good thing is us getting to know you will allow us to do that. Anybody I know you guys, we appreciate you staying on tonight. Has anybody been accepted? I think one of you, I think I've already talked to maybe one or two of you about your acceptance, but have you applied, been accepted? Nice, good. That's awesome. Congratulations to you. If you've not applied, I encourage you to do so. There is no cost to apply. We do ask that you submit your transcripts, and you will see up here the official test scores. Those are optional this year, like most colleges. So just to let you know, that's the step of going through the admissions process to get accepted. Also, figuring out how am I going to afford my education? We're going to partner with you on that step as well. So the free application for federal student aid will be an important piece. And again, our team in financial aid will get to know you and walk through that. We're going to help you with those steps and figuring out how to afford your education here at the university. Did want to point out our school code is listed as 001540. So you seniors, if you have not already started that FAFSA process, it's an important time. We're getting ready to award our spring and fall new students their financial aid award. So I encourage you to begin that process. Without further ado, I just want to take a moment and thank our folks who joined us tonight and learned a little bit more about the university. Tonight, we just give you a kind of highlights of the program. We encourage you, a lot of you are not here in North Carolina, so if you have an opportunity to come and visit, we'd love to show you around. Yes, we are open for tours, so we encourage you to come out and visit. Because some of you are farther distances, New Mexico as an example, we're happy to do a Zoom session with you and your family to walk through the curriculum and the courses a little bit more in depth as well. So again, we want to make sure that we walk through that with you. That picture there is the Belk Center where our dining hall is currently being redone. We had some damage from Hurricane Florence a few years ago, and a new dining hall, by the time you would come here as a student, will be up and in operation in the Belk Center there. So we're excited to see the progress getting started over in the Belk Center. To wrap up though, now that if some of you have been accepted, congratulations. Visiting is an important step, or a virtual visit is an important step, the FAFSA, and then letting us know that you're interested in getting started from that standpoint. You have a lot of choices in colleges and universities. We want to thank you tonight for learning more about St. Andrews. If you have your phone, the QR codes, if you take your phone, open up the camera, you can click on visit or click on apply. And also to learn more about scholarships, we encourage you to do that and learn more about those areas. Again, we want to thank you for your time tonight. We want to wish you happy holidays early as we go into the holiday season. I want to thank part of my family for joining us tonight and sharing their stories. We'll stay on for a little while to answer any questions. Again, we're excited about your interest, and again, look forward to welcoming you to Night Nation. So thank you so much. Have a great evening, everyone. And again, we'll stay on for just a little while if you have questions.